It is December 2nd night, and man, I haven't made a video for a while. It's because my neighbors have been, well, they're not my neighbors. I mean, they were just people gutting out the house next door, so they were making a bunch of noise, and to be honest, every time I tried to record the banging and the gutting and everything else, like the roof tiles, they were just like scraping stuff off the roof, and it was so bad that like I couldn't hear myself think. So it was a challenge because they're here early in the morning. So I did have some days off recently, but they pretty much went like me having to wake up every day bright and early at 8 no matter the day because they're starting and making a bunch of freaking noise. Really annoying. I mean, I know they have their job to do and they're just getting their job done, and I understand that. But it still pisses me off because I took those days off to enjoy it, not be woken up early by a bunch of banging. But, you know, that's just how it works, sadly. So, I can't say I finished a recent big programming project because I'll always be adding on to it and always be improving it. But recently I got to a state with a project that I'm confident of soon releasing it online. It's gonna be a website. That's my only hint that I'm going to say. Well, more like a web app. And it's going to, like, there's a lot of benefits to it. I'm excited to explain it. And right now I'm in the process of working out bugs. I also am trying to, how do I put it? I'm still trying to add on to it. And once I do add on to it into a state in which I feel confident releasing it to the public so it could be used easily, I am then going to get it up. Like, I'm planning to have it up early 2023, and that's a bad deadline. I mean, I would love to do it a lot sooner, but like I'm in this also weird phase in which, you know, I am the, like, you know, I'm the only programmer for all my stuff. Like other people may have a team or whatnot. I'm one person. I kind of like it that way, having full control over the architecture. The reason why I say that is because I could get stuff done really fast, and I follow like guidelines to myself, so I always make sure that, you know, basically, so if I need to change something fast, I can do it with relative ease. I've learned from experience, the more hands code passes through, the more utterly of a nightmare it becomes to maintain. And like, I mean, I had an internship a long time ago, pre-COVID days, and it was awful. And the reason it was awful was because the code base was passed through so many hands. So many people quit over the course of time that it just became an absolute freaking nightmare of code. And it's just everyone was sorry. Everyone was under the agreement that this is how it is and we're just going to have to deal with it. So to fix the smallest thing, you're just going to have to spend days and hours trying to fix one little thing. And it's just like, okay, I understand it. It's enterprise. I mean, I guess that's what some people accept. But like, I mean, even if I was working on some project with my friends, programming friends, I would never want it to get to such a bad point. The other problem was that in that internship, they were just starting to bring in their own coding standards. So like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get so damn technical and off the topic of drawing and all of that. But like at that project, it was, how do I say it? Well, okay, they decided that we had to follow new standards that they decided to recently implement. So every time we wrote something, we pretty much had to rewrite a portion of the code base. So it's like we were juggling. It's like we were juggling three balls and they add a fourth one, and it was just an absolute nightmare. I wish it wasn't. I mean, I feel like I didn't learn about, well, this was before I had the skill set that I do now. But I'll put it this way, right? I'm drawing a box, right? So let's say you're trying to match someone's style, right? If you're trying to match someone's style, it's a really hard thing to do because they have a line quality about their work. So it's hard for me to see because you can't exactly see where my hand is because I'm using a digital tablet. I'm going to draw a line now and just pay attention to this, right? Let's say I have a box. And this is, I learned this method from Dropbox. It's not, just know, I'm going to draw a little more of the box. Okay, so let's say we have a box. It's not 100% complete. I mean, there's always an extra step you can take, whether you're trying to like think about it in 3D space or whether you're just trying to show some sides and not other sides. Like in this example, we're just showing this side, and this side. So great, we got 3 sides. Obviously, a box has 6 sides, so we have that, right? Now let's say you go to a company and they say, okay, we want you to start off on this other project. Okay, and you're deciding, okay, I'm going to start off on another project. And let's say you draw a line from here to here. Well, there's a problem with this line. They don't like that line because that line doesn't match exactly the style, the look and feel of everything else. And the other thing is, well, I guess maybe this is a bad example, but the point I'm trying to say here is that it's possible to do, and I'm guessing, like, I'm not in an art field, I'm just a programmer. I mean, not to disparage myself, but for you people in the in a more art field, I could kind of see how it can be really hard to match someone's style. I mean, maybe there are tools out there that can help, but I mean, really trying to get it, like, the one person who drew that thing is going to be able to do that the best, I hate to say. And when you add other people in, they start adding in their bias. So that's like my thought on it. And the project overall was, well, it was just an internship. They were looking for someone with a lot more experience. So I guess you could think of it like, if someone trying to match a style, maybe they're looking for someone who had a lot more years of experience that can do that. I mean, probably in my case, I was just too new. That's what I would say. I mean, at the time, I was just fresh out of college and I never really had any other skills in that field, so there was a learning curve to it. But I guess it all depends. So maybe my opinion is just totally garbage, and maybe I'm even rethinking what I said. But other than that, this has been quite a year. It's December. I'm always thinking about, reflecting on what I did. And the one thing that I've been thinking about is, like, barriers to entry. Where do I go with this? Maybe it's just me, but, well, no, I guess maybe it's not just me. Everyone has their strong opinion of technology, and there's always new technology being added. And trying to get someone to adopt new technology is always a nightmare, because, well, how do I put it? They're not used to it. So, sometimes when you walk into a job, you get stuck with it, you get forced with it, and it's just terrible. So, my thought was that a lot of people aren't always giving enough people time to learn, or they don't want to give people time to learn, and that's kind of what experience is about. But I always think, even with that, there's going to be a learning curve with them. Maybe they could learn a lot faster, but I feel like that's not always 100% the case. So, more often than not, you feel like garbage trying to do it out for the first time, and that's something I've been thinking a lot about, considering, like, my experience as it is now. Like, it's still pretty bad. I mean, I attribute my lack of drawing to the fact that I've been working on this project recently, and I hate to say it like that. Like, I do get in my hours every day. I definitely try to, but I've seen it taking up a significant amount of time. I mean, that's what I signed up for. I'm not saying I didn't sign up for it, so I'm not gonna bitch and moan about that. I feel like we're ending this year, and this was really like the Cambrian explosion of a bunch of, like, well, I'd say programs pissing off artists. When I think of that, I think of AI art and NFTs. And I know it's been around for a lot longer than that, but I feel like in the mainstream, or I've been on the internet, it seems like that's where it's like hitting everyone. So I wish there was a better solution because it doesn't really seem like it. I think a lot of people were thinking that the AI is going to take their job, and at first I was thinking, I don't think it's going to take that. I don't think it's going to be that quick. Like I think it's definitely going to happen, but not be that quick. Coming from my perspective, a lot of people that I've been talking to, it seems like the trend now is to be very treating programmers like garbage. I hate to say, they're I don't know why, just my opinion on it. And in my personal experience, the big trend these days has been saying that what you do isn't really that hard. You're more of a janitor. It's become just like any other job. It's not like you're living on the edge. It's not like you're creating anything that's really gonna help the world out. Maybe, that's something that I've been kind of struggling with because I want to make an impact. Believe it or not, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I want to make money. I mean, who doesn't want to make money? But it's been very, very weird. Very just like, I kind of grew up and I thought it was like one of those like, whoa, you could do anything. And you can if you want to learn it. Granted, anything takes time and everything's a different case. But yeah, there's been like I don't know, disparaging trend. I don't know if it's the people who I am around, or just the nature of the field, or burnout, or just the economy as it is right now. But oops, I really botched that line. Yeah, it's really weird, I mean, my feeling is that maybe programming back then was a lot more, maybe it was more unique because of the lack of documentation online and answers online, because like, there was a time when you didn't really have good docs at all, or if you did have them, they were garbage, and for the most part, you still do get a lot of that. I mean, I have to tell you, when I was in school, I one time thought about being a programmer, and I thought, wow, this is awful. And I was like, being in it now, I'm like if I'm making something myself and I'm inspired in the project, I feel like I could really do it. But if I'm not involved in the project, I feel like I don't know, people, well, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that I just lack like 10, 15, 20 years of experience, and that's why people don't really care for what I have to say. I don't know, maybe it's just people are assholes. And that's it. You know, I'm probably just going on a big tangent with all of this, but thinking about the future, I wanted to wrap in this point about AI art. So people thought AI art, it's coming for you, it's going to replace artists. Oh, it's definitely going to in some form, but I want to say like AI coding is like a whole nother thing that's definitely going to replace a lot of jobs that like that perhaps even like I hate to say replace me. I mean, not hate to say, but I mean like it could definitely happen, but I feel like more often than not you're going to need a programmer to do it, or like in the case of AI art, you're going to need an artist to do it. I mean, granted, I feel like it takes away the the practice of it and kind of like, well, some of the fun of it. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a replacement, because I don't think you could ever do that. Or maybe, and then you'll get like Skynet, but my thought on that is that, yeah, I guess you can't know about it, and you can't predict it, and there will never be like 100% accurate prediction for how it'll go, and you'll just have to see how it goes down further down the line. But let me think. Yeah, I've been working on to go back to my previous point. I've been working on the app a lot still. And it's coming through. I mean, I'm mostly done with it. I'm sorry. I feel like I feel like I'm just stringing everyone along with how I've been, but it's a bit frustrating because just when I think it's done, I find that it's broken here. I'm like, how did this even break? Or I added something else and I regressed. And you know, I have a way of going back in history for it. So in the event I really mess up, I could look back, kind of just like you could use undo and redo in a drawing program. But it's always more complicated than what it seems, to be honest. Let me think. You know, I guess the only other point that I can really talk about right now is the fact that I hurt my back recently, doing nothing special, but luckily it doesn't affect me sitting. So, that is the good thing. So I guess I could always still draw at least, even though moving is painful. Wow, I really wish I had more prepared because I haven't talked for so long. I mean, I don't even know what to talk about now. Well, maybe I shouldn't waste any more time and end it there. But I don't know. I guess I want to draw a few more boxes. I rarely get time to just do this, and I think about the future and probably how it's going to be like that as well. But I don't know. Maybe I could like batch my time better. But thank you. Yeah, I'm going to stop it here. But thank you for listening. Bye.